Do not attempt to adjust your podcast player. We are controlling the transmission. We are here to be your guide, helping you to explore local events, the art scene, music, theater, sports, and possibly a conspiracy or two. All here on the GCRX Radio and Podcast Network.
This evening, but I'm here and Engineer Bill is here, and he's not even a guest anymore. He's our friend, Bryan with the Y.
Your favorite guy.
How's everybody doing?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Absolutely. It was a good weekend.
Indeed.
Yeah, we had a little bit of music down here in the district. The Mill had a concert, 38 special. The singer was Mike Pagano, the mayor from Pontoon. It was excellent. It was kind of neat to hear the music going through the downtown like it did.
Nice.
Spent the whole entire weekend right here, and now the heat.
Right here, like so you were sitting in the chair the whole
Yeah, pretty much the
right there.
I wasn't spending a whole lot this weekend, but it was hot out there. So that's what my weekend was kind of about. I like the shirt, sarcasm. It's what you.
What I do.
It's
Are you
what
a
you
professional?
do.
Like
Unequivocally 150% professional.
like still paying your student loans on the degree? Professional.
Oh no. I don't pay student loans.
Who does that? Come on.
That's what I do.
And Mr. Bill, what did you do?
We went and watched a movie. They watched Inside Out, and Andrew and I watched Bad Boys. Bad Boys was actually really good at the theater here in town. And then we just kind of chilled, and I ended up having to work on my air conditioner because it was freezing up and the house was getting super hot. That's actually where the idea for going to the theater was. Like, hey, they've got air conditioning. Let's go there. So,
There you go. And was it packed?
yeah, well, it wasn't. It was, I would say, about 3/4.
Every time I drove past that
Yeah.
theater this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
there was cars everywhere. I don't know what movie are they in there seeing, and then I found out a family member of mine, one of my nieces,
Mhm.
went to see Inside Out
Yep.
at a private event at a birthday party at 9:00 in the morning,
Excuse me.
and loved it so much. She went with her grandma. Loved it so much that she made her dad go back with her that night.
Second time. Yep.
It looks like it's going to be a really good movie.
I didn't watch that. We want to watch Bad Boys. So
I saw Bad Boys
Bad Boys was good.
at oh man, it just had a lot of memorable scenes to it. The ring camera scene with Reggie,
Mm-hmm.
who got punked in the second movie. He turned out to be a real hard-hitting badass in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, we see it through a ring camera, and it's just like he kind of stole the show for me.
Yeah, it was good. It was definitely good. Worth it. I haven't been in theater in a while, so
And we have such a nice theater.
we really do.
It always is so clean, well staffed,
Mm-hmm.
and some really good movies.
And great air conditioning.
Right here.
What I like about the theater over here is that the people legitimately look like happy to be there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Aw,
yeah, like, I want to be here to serve you. It's like, oh, thank you so much. So yeah, I enjoy going to the theater. What was it that I saw there? I took the kids to see. It was last year sometime. It was a kids movie. It was a lot of fun. The Super Mario Brothers movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was that I saw there. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got there like 20 minutes early, and we thought we were going to be the only ones there. I'm like, ooh, that'd be awesome. Like, the only people in the theater, and we sat like top row, straight in the middle, and then it started filling in. I'm like, oh,
Black people. I'm not even gonna lie. Look, man, as the resident,
he went
as the
there.
resident black person in the
went
room, look, if the movie starts at 5:30, we're showing up at 5:35, fashionably late. It's kind of like, all right, cool. Look, it's previews. Nobody watches previews anyway. But in addition to enjoying the movie, we're gonna talk through the movie too.
Okay, so is that really a thing?
It is.
Black people
It's called CP
CP time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
Wow.
my own time. It's called BP time. And I show up. It's like wizarding time. A wizard never is early or late. He shows up exactly when he needs to.
Okay, so I like that. Maybe that's where I'm at. I know I'm one of those people that
A wizard, Harry.
if something starts at 7 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be there at like 6:15.
Oh, I can't be that early. My wife has dragged me into being early. I was always I get there when I get there, except for like doctor's appointments and stuff. But it's always been to me like she would like freak out about a family thing. Like, oh, they said that it's starting at 6:30, and I'm like, okay, it's my mom. Who cares? She's like, no, we need to be there. I'm like, no, it's my mom. What's she gonna do if I show up at 7 o'clock? Like, I could have not shown up at all. Like, but no, she's like on that, so we have to be there on time or early.
I think it starts for me, my family's events,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. My sister's holidays, we've always done them at her house, and she would always, how the invite would come is, Christmas Eve, we are going to eat at 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to eat at 4 o'clock.
Which, by the way, why? Why so early?
Well,
Like, do you ever eat dinner at 4 o'clock?
well,
Thanksgiving, we're having dinner at 2.
Well,
Why?
I think that because you have so many places to go, so
Yeah.
many different families you've got to go to,
I'm literally coming here.
and that's it. You only go one place.
Well, I mean, when
See,
we
you know
were-
what? You come. Your parents are still together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Dad's
Yeah.
legitimately losing his mind.
see when we were younger parents, we had to go to other people's places too, and the kids had to be at the other place with like shared custody and all that. And so it
Yeah,
was
it's a thing.
we have to go to this grandma's house and that grandma's. It was never a situation, even when I was young, and my parents weren't divorced or anything like that. Like, no, we just didn't get together as like one giant group of people because it probably would have been like baseball bats and craziness. Like, people just didn't get along. So,
Baseball bats with barbed wire wrapped around.
all right, Negan. But like, no, it was like it was never that thing. There was never like a big family reunion thing. It was grandma had her thing, this other grandma had her thing, and mom and dad maybe had their thing, but usually it was just going to like grandparents.
Yeah, you just have to work it all in there. So
Yeah.
when my sister would say we're going to eat at 4 o'clock, in my mind, I'm like, you don't just show up at somebody's house at 4 o'clock to eat. So I would hear, oh, see you like at 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Right. Maybe you can help finish
Yeah,
cooking
right.
the dinner or prepping the table.
Or
Okay.
Show up at 4 and eat.
or show up at 4 and eat, because that's what we're here for. Not to mention,
Probably in her way.
maybe. I mean, I think the one family reunion that really kind of galvanizes a family is a good funeral.
Yeah.
Like, everybody shows up. It's not like, oh, grandma's got her thing. No. Grandma's funeral is today. We all need to be there.
Yeah.
So, grandpa, he's dying next week, so we'll see him next week. Like, it doesn't happen that way. Oh, we're having different celebrations. No. There's one, and that's pretty much it. If you miss it, you miss it.
That's true. And how many times do you hear at funerals someone say, we got to get together more than just at funerals and weddings? And who has big weddings anymore?
Mm.
I mean, I think that's kind of dying
People
out.
with
I'm not
money.
sure. Yeah, I don't know
I'm
that.
going to invite 5,000 of my closest friends. To what?
Right.
To what?
Save my invitation for that divorce celebration. We
And
all
you
know
know-
it's coming.
The unfortunate thing is, I've seen divorce celebrations bigger than weddings.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm inviting my coworkers, I'm inviting my friends. I know I haven't seen you since high school. Come on out, I'm getting divorced. It's like, I signed the final paperwork today. It's like, geez.
No, I don't know. Maybe it's just it's a culture thing.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know what they have.
I don't know, like, and I'm not trying to be culturally insensitive, but it just seems like every movie that deals with that, like, it seems like black families are more like everybody comes to one place, and it's like white families are like, no, we do our thing and you do your thing, because like,
As a kid, we used to, like, Thanksgiving, Christmas, we all got together. And hear me out. My dad is one of 8. My mom is one of 10. My mom's family would get together, all the uncles, aunts, the cousins. I mean, finding a place where everybody, like, who's got the biggest apartment in New York City? Aunt Catherine. All right, great, we're going over there. Aunt Thelma, we're going over there. And it was like, all right, cool, we're doing Christmas at Thelma's. That was our thing. And that was our thing for a good decade growing up as a kid. And that was cool. Then Grandma died. And then everyone was like, it's me. It's like, no, it's not you. It's me. No, not you. It's me. That was weird.
Yeah, most of our time was spent at one grandma's house, and then we had a 4th of July tradition where like my uncle would go out and he would go out and grab one of the pavilions at the park like super early in the morning because you can't reserve them for holidays. So he'd go out and grab one, and then we would all go there on the 4th of July, spend the whole day in Wilson Park, and then go to the carnival in the evening and then watch the fireworks and go home. So that was a real cool thing as a kid.
Rest in peace, Carnival Wilson Park.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut on that.
Yeah, we're just going to let that one go on by.
Yeah, we're just.
But St.
I
Elizabeth
remember how
had,
it was when we were a kid.
I do too, and I miss it, but things change. They just change. I did enjoy the St. Elizabeth Carnival this year, and I understand they had like record numbers, so good for them.
Nice.
And
How was
not
it- how
a
was
whole
the
lot of
crime?
problems.
It was better because traditionally that's been the
It has
you might
been.
get stabbed carnival.
Yeah, and that didn't happen, and also they didn't charge the cover that they normally do.
That's why nobody got stabbed.
Probably right there, right? I did hear that a switchblade. There was something was involved in switchblade when it came across the scanner
I
pages,
saw that too.
and
yeah.
then as it turned out, it was found like it might have fallen from somebody on the Ferris
On a ride or
wheel,
something, yeah.
and it was picked up and turned in. And also, the only other incident I heard about was that there was a vehicle parked with just a crack in the window down, and it had 2 dogs in it.
Oh, see, now that's what.
And the fire department and the police department came and took care
Busted
of
the
that
windows
situation.
out. Good.
Last I had heard, or what I had read, was that the car was being towed and the police officers were standing there with dogs on leashes. I don't know anything past that, what I just read. Because I thought, okay, I guess it was serious and
Those
taken.
people should go to jail.
Yeah.
Anybody that leaves an animal or a child in a car, bye. I don't care. There's, I forgot. No, you don't forget that. You do not forget that.
I've got a story about that.
Ooh.
Do tell.
Okay, so I was
Once
running
upon a time.
once upon a time. Man, let me tell you how it went down.
Oh, God.
So I was running a location. I work for a chain that does car repairs. And I was running a location out in Shrewsbury. And I remember seeing a lot of police vehicles just right past us, Watson Road.
Mhm.
I have no idea what's going on. Shortly afterwards, and by shortly, I mean like 90 seconds after I see all of these police vehicles heading west, I hear boom, 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 boom. And I look over, and there's a car that we had just finished, and probably about 8 feet away from that car is another car that has torn the complete front axle out of this car. I see a guy jump out, and he runs into the subdivision, like hops the fence, and I'm like, oh crap, this dude's running. You know what we need to do? We need to close the bay windows, like close all the doors.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm shutting the doors. One of my texts is like, he's not coming this way. Like, he totally just jumped that fence. I mean, that's cool. I don't want him hopping back over and taking refuge here, because I don't want to be involved in whatever the police got going.
Right.
The last 2 times I've been involved with the police, my car got arrested and then I got arrested. I'll get into those stories later, but that's a different ballgame. So I'm like trying to just stay out. And there are people in the lobby and they're like, what's going on? I have no idea what's going on. And honestly, I don't want to know. Well, sometime later, probably about 8 minutes later, 8 to 10 minutes later, 2 vehicles pull up in our parking lot. The police are there at the car. They have withdrawn a baby from the car seat in the back seat. And I'm like, oh, there's no good that can come from this.
No.
Older black woman gets out. She says, that's my car. Oh, that's my grandbaby. Oh. Y'all better find him, because I just paid that car off. Her son attempted to rob the Walmart up the street in Shrewsbury with his kid in the back seat. Total this car. I mean, catastrophic. It's a total loss. There's no way that this car comes back. Like, there's not enough. Like, the insurance company is not going to cover this. And this poor woman had, when I tell you just paid it off like 2 months prior, had just paid this car off. Y'all better find him before I find him. If I find him, I'm going to kill him. It's her son.
I get it.
Oh, it gets so much better. So at some point, maybe 15 minutes later, some Mexican dude comes running up, and he's like, "Ayuda, ayuda, mira, mira, ayuda, ayuda." I understand that he's calling for help, but I don't know what he wants help with. Mm-hmm. He comes out. The dude had like hopped over the fence, and there was one police officer, we'll just call him Captain America. Oh, he's over the fence! And he like ran and jumped the fence, but he's got all the gear, so his gear gets stuck on the fence, and he's like, ah.
Not a very good Captain America.
Clearly not. We could call him, I don't know.
Captain Special.
Captain Special, sure. His partner, a much older guy, he's like, I'm jumping to the cruiser. I'm going around into the subdivision. I found this out secondhand from a woman who was witness to this whole thing. So it's not like I saw this story directly, okay? Just so we're clear. This is hearsay. Legal. Okay, legal. Anyway, so dude drives around. What we didn't see, but what was told to us, was that the dude hopped the fence and was like landed with some landscapers, all Spanish speaking, maybe Mexican, Puerto Rican, I don't know. But they're all like, they see him land over the fence and they kind of go, here. And they hand him a rake. Pretend you're with us.
Oh, hell.
It gets better. So pretend you're with us. In Spanish, one dude says to the other guy, get the police. That's the dude who comes running up, ayuda, ayuda, mira, mira, which says, help, help, look, look. So, police officer drives around the subdivision. He's now trying to fight the guys with the rake. And they're like, absolutely not. There are more of these guys. So they overpower him and take the rake from him. Dude starts to book it through the subdivision. Now, if you've lived in a subdivision for any amount of time, your neighbors will eventually know who you are.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Tight-knit community. It's a subdivision. Like, we're here. It doesn't matter what's going on. Like, we're going to help you out because you're my neighbor.
When the police are there, there's a truce that happens.
There's
Even
a truce.
If you don't like that.
I don't care that you blow your leaves over on my side. So this one older woman cracks the door open and says, officer. Officer. He's in Janice's dumpster. The officers convert on it. They open it and he's like, oh, hell.
Why is this little old lady suddenly from Brooklyn?
I don't know. She was an old Italian woman. But she was just like, officer. So they arrested him. They found him before his mother did. I don't know if he's doing time or what, but that was...
He better be, otherwise his mom would have murdered him.
That's what I'm saying. It's probably safer for him in lockup. But yeah, that was like a year and a half
All
ago.
for trying to knock off the Walmart.
And it's like, Walmart, really? Walmart.
Some people are just special.
Oh,
I think the Walmart is like maybe just a step above class-wise than stealing somebody's air conditioner unit.
You know, Walmart is such a love-hate relationship for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they're here. I love Walmart. I need their things.
I don't like their tactics when they first came in back in the day, which was to drive every mom and pop out of business with their lower prices.
And it's happened.
Mm-hmm.
But they're here. They're everywhere. They're not going anywhere.
They're the OG Amazon.
Right.
Yeah.
And I try to go along with their things. Mm-hmm. I do. I just want to get along. And I've always enjoyed the door greeter. I'm just weird like that. I've always enjoyed the little older person at the door. I don't even know if we have those anymore. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
And then came the self-checkouts. I'm not a fan of those at all.
Well, they've learned a lesson from that.
Home Depot did.
Mm-hmm.
They spent millions of dollars on these upgrades.
Yep.
And now you can't even use self-checkout because too much stuff
Well,
walked out the door.
that's what I'm getting at. Okay. Thank God I'm only going to be here for one term, so I can just go ahead and say,
Go ahead.
Yeah, right?
ahead.
I get in it. Okay. If I'm in a really good mood or I got nothing really going on, I'd stay pretty level. You know, I'm waltzing in, I'm getting my crap, I'm getting out. I know if it's in a bag, they don't care. They're waving at you out the door you go. But if you're carrying something, whether it's a box of diapers or like more recently, you know, a boom box, whatever.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What?
A little CD boom box kind of thing.
Those are coming back?
What year is
Yeah,
it?
actually. Yeah, it's brand new. Just got it. So if you have something that's not in a bag, chances are they're going to ask for your receipt.
Yep.
I'm not a fan of that. I'm just not a fan of it.
It's heavy. I don't have a cart. Why are you asking me to stop?
Yeah. So I might have been a little bit aggravated this weekend. So if by chance you are the greeter and you were at the door, I'm not really apologizing. I'm just explaining that when I threw my hand up in the air with the receipt and said, "You're welcome to follow me to my car and help me unload this, but I'm not stopping." I understand why. It's a love-hate relationship.
My whole thing with self-checkout, like, I don't necessarily care. You just got to make it easier, and you got to make me not feel like a criminal. Listen, I'm not stealing from you. I pay for everything.
Do you
that I get.
watch other people at the checkout?
No, because I really don't want to particularly be involved in your crime. Like,
Okay, I watched this recently. This was recent, not this last trip, but a few trips within. I was doing a self checkout. I had a few things to get. I will not do self checkout if I got produce or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing all that job looking up that produce and out. No, I'll wait 20 people in line. But I did see this person was on the next aisle over, and I don't know what caught my attention other than it was a stack of meat, maybe pork steaks sort of thing, kind of long this way. And there was maybe 6, 7 of them, and I noticed that when they were picking them up, they were picking up like 3 at a time and swiping and sitting it in the bag. And I'm thinking, I know that didn't just register all 3 of those in your hand. Surely you're not going to do that again. Well, they did. And I'm like, okay, it was one of those days. Not my monkeys, not my circus. Just get me out of here.
So I'd like to make a point about this, and I know that I kind of have before, but first off, I'd like you to just give me a round ballpark guess of what you think Walmart's annual revenue was last year.
$35 billion.
Okay, we've got $35 billion.
Wow, that much? I'm going to say half that.
17?
Yeah.
Okay, you're both wrong. $611 billion.
Shut up. Okay.
Billion.
You should have just took the whole stack.
What you should have done is say, yo, get some for me too. I'll meet you in the parking lot.
Right. So here's my thing. Walmart and other big corporations will come on and talk a big game about, shrink is a big part of our loss, and customers stealing and so on and so forth. And rightfully so, like whether they've made $1 billion or $611 billion, they should not have to deal with people stealing the products from their store. It's just not right.
Right.
Okay. If I owned a store, if I made, $100,000
I want
a year,
every bit of
I
it.
want every bit of it,
Right.
and I don't want my things stolen. However, after you learn your lesson from the self-checkout fiasco, which, by the way, to your point, Bryan, self-checkout has been around at Home Depot since I was an employee there way back in the day, and it was still problematic then. And we were, I guess, hoping with technology upgrades that it would get better, but it never did. People are still going to scan a tomato for an Xbox if they get a chance to do it, and they're those type of people. Just plain and simple.
Right.
So I want you to just kind of take in this perspective. We talked on the show before about how no corporation making that kind of annual revenue has any right to feel okay with paying their workers absolute bare bottom and minimum wage and watching them struggle. It's just unethical and it's wrong, but it's legal. So you tell me that you want to spend these millions of dollars on self-checkout equipment and all of the crap that comes along with it, and all of the shrink, all the, woe is me, we're being stolen from, it's terrible, we're going to have to close this location, and all that BS, right? What's the average annual salary of a cashier that you have stand there and make sure it doesn't
30,000, 40,000 maybe.
Maybe. And you're benefiting a family. You're putting food on people's table by having another job. You're increasing the amount of jobs. You're decreasing the amount of customer frustration, and you're immediately decreasing the shrink. Obviously, aside from what people can stuff in their pockets or put in their bags or whatever.
That's a no-brainer on that side. Just the way you laid it out.
Thank you.
Why do we still have those?
Don't know. I don't know. I would assume that some of it comes from the corporations that sell the equipment are invested in security stuff and everything, pushing that off, and maybe kickbacks from that and stuff. But when you're a $611 billion company,
profit.
But I mean, here's the thing: like Walmart doesn't have to not piss you off because they're Walmart. What are you going to do? Stop shopping here? No.
Right.
Your $150 a week doesn't do anything against our bottom line.
And the more negative you yell about us, the more people are probably just going to still keep shopping here. So it doesn't matter. But if you had any kind of ethics within your company, you would just light up all of those cashier aisles, and you would just make people happy by bringing them through, getting them through, making sure people at your cash registers are not jerks, making sure they're doing their job by checking items that can have things hidden inside of them, checking the bottom of the cart, all that standard, retail stuff that you do, and getting them out as quickly as possible, and then they can't scan the tomato for the Xbox.
So what is that position worth to you as a cashier? Like if you were head of, I don't know, HR or whatever, and you were going to redo the numbers and say everyone's getting a raise, and I mean substantial. We want to make sure that, number one, we have great retention. Number two, we have friendliness and customer service. What do you think a cashier should make if this is like their full-time job and they're not trying to stress about stuff? And
I would look at the most successful companies that follow ethical practices and have an amazing work environment. And I would start modeling my salaries off of that. And then on top of that, as I was looking at that data, I would take a long, hard look at the things that most of these large corporations refuse to acknowledge, which is what is the bottom line, especially in the area that my store is in, that would support a person plus one, assuming that they may have a family, or a person plus two, or whatever you want to do there. But I would say, listen, I made $611 billion last year after it was all said and done. They like to throw around the, EBITDA word, earnings before depreciation, yada, yada, so on and so forth. We made that much money, cash in the bank, and now mind you, companies have to keep money on the books in order to expansion and all kinds of things. You want to have capital available. But $611 billion, and you've got people that aren't making enough to not have this be their only job. You've got people that aren't making enough that they still qualify for government benefits while they're full-time employed with your company. That is wrong. But it's not wrong by the law.
Right.
But if I were the United States government and I was looking at an employer like Walmart and I saw that you had Jane Doe or John Doe, a full-time cashier, 40 hours a week on your payroll, and John Doe, by no cause of his own, was unable to make ends meet on your salary and was requesting government benefits from me, number one, I would give them to him to help him, obviously. But number two, I'd be contacting you to ask you what the hell you were doing. Are you serious? I'm looking I'm the government. I'm looking at what you made last year. It's publicly available information. I didn't pull that number out of my butt. I just Googled it, and it's right there. Their fiscal report is online. And you have people on your staff that in any given area can't afford to live working at your establishment. Now, it's one thing if you're like, oh, I can only work Monday, Tuesday, and you can't make it off of that salary. Well, that's your own accord. But if you're working a full-time job at a company like that and you cannot afford to live normally, apartment, phone bill, gas, electric, all that stuff, nothing extravagant, then that's problematic for the company that you work for.
Right.
And
I agree.
now I will agree that these smaller, lower end jobs like McDonald's, that's not.
I don't believe that. Right.
It's not meant to live on like that. If that's a starter job, so on and so forth. I get that, and I understand the logic behind it. But if you've made a career of retail, like how long would you have to be a cashier at Walmart before you're making a living wage? Your wages.
Question.
Yeah.
How many employees does Walmart have in the United States?
Oh.
300,000? Less? More?
Way more. 2.1 million worldwide, 1.6 in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
According to ZipRecruiter, understand, I did all of this while Bill was talking.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I never wanted a smartphone,
But
but I got mine at Walmart. Anyway,
Scan a tomato for it.
scan a tomato for it. In any case, on the high end, ZipRecruiter says that on the high end, the average Walmart employee makes in St. Louis about $32.75 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
That's on the high end. On the low end, it's $8.75. So going on the high end, if everyone in the company was making $32.75 an hour,
mm-hmm.
times 40 hours a week, I didn't even do times 52 weeks a year. It comes out to just about $1 billion in income
Mm-hmm.
that's paid out from salary.
Plus, then you got to add on they're paying Social Security taxes and all
Right,
that
right.
stuff.
But I'm talking about gross.
Yeah.
Okay. $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 11 billion, but it's not 600 billion. And I think, because I know people personally who do work at Walmart.
Could you imagine the customer service you would get?
If you were paying people $32.75 an hour?
Yes.
So, well, and that comes back into what I was saying on one of our previous shows where it's like, hey, a shining example is Chick-fil-A. Like, all their employees are always very nice and they follow the rules and, my pleasure and all that stuff. And everybody's like, oh, why can't every fast food place be like that? I'm
It's
like,
not
well,
every fast food place pays their employees the way.
pays their employees that way.
Gives them Sundays off.
And, well, it gives them Sundays. But is also selective of who they hire and very strict with their policies. And if you were paying every employee at Walmart $32 an hour, imagine how selective you could be with your employees. Like, listen,
and I'm all for it. I would be all for that as long as that kind of wage doesn't make a box of cereal now $9 be $14.
Well, and see my whole point
so
to that.
we've already established they did well with their profit.
Right.
So leave this alone.
And these companies are showing record. That's the thing that just blows my mind is the fact that the CEOs will sit there and be interviewed, and while the interviewer knows that they're showing record profits, like, oh, well, things are just really expensive and we're just driving the cost. I think it has become a norm for them to just like, we're just going to move the cost onto the customer for everything.
Right.
Period.
Yes.
Knowing, as the CEO of a major company, knowing that you got $611 billion in revenue, knowing that you should think like, hey, maybe instead of saving all of that capital for a rainy day or expansion, which, like, come on, like, yeah, they're going to expand, but they're not like, we've only got 300 stores and we plan to have 10,000 by the end of the year. Like, no, you guys have done your footprint layout and now you're just adding on as you go. I think that you should step back and be like, maybe if we took 11 billion of that 600 billion and invested it back in our employees, expecting them to do more, but paying them for what we expect, and having an agile training program, an agile incentive program, and making it worthwhile to live here, and not being like, well, it sucks that you can't put gas in your car, but you better be here or we're going to fire you.
Right.
Maybe if you made it worthwhile for these people to stay there, you would see a huge difference in the way that your company is visualized. I mean, it's like employees at the steel mill. Those guys are proud of where they work. They're proud of what they do. They have nice stuff. They have good lives because they make good money. They're not making minimum wage to be a laborer at the steel mill.
Right.
Even the least skilled job at the steel mill is not minimum wage. Period. So why is the least skilled job at a Walmart minimum wage? And even if we're just only talking like, well, hey, you're part-time and it's a minimum wage gig. Like, again, we talked about the part-timers. You chose to be part-time, or you took that position, so it is what it is. I still don't think for what's being asked of such a retail giant to their employees that you have the right to pay people minimum wage like that. I think
I agree.
minimum wage is reserved for a starter job. And I think even talking about the fast food thing, like you made a point, Kim, at one point in time that like, hey, that's a starter job. You're not going to aspire to be there. But let's say you do aspire to be there. This is what I want to do. I want to be in food service. Okay. Then the step up from the starter job needs to be a significant pay increase. If you're going to be a shift leader and then an assistant manager and a store manager, you need to be making good money doing those things, And honestly, I think that if you are a fast food establishment and you want to increase your service, like you want your employees to be better, you want your employees to be on it, you want your employees to be nice, then you need to compensate them to where it's worthwhile for them to be there. Because if it's just throwaway money, I don't care about this job.
Right.
I don't care that I didn't make your sandwich right. What are you gonna do, lady? Get the hell on my drive-thru. I don't care. Because if you piss me off enough, I'll walk out the door, and then you'll still be sitting without your food, and I'll just be flipping you off from the parking lot as I'm laughing. Because
with your sandwich.
Because it's $8 an hour, bro. You get in here and make it for $8 an hour. You want to stand over this grill? Here's the apron. Do it.
Well, now it's actually 14 though, right?
What?
Yeah. And I guess there are people that start off with their first job and they stay there. And that's a success really in itself.
I would say it's a small percentage, though.
Yeah, but immediately it made me think of our movie theater that we were talking about earlier. Our movie theater, it's city-owned, which is unique in itself. Mm-hmm. It's a nice theater. Our manager right now is Jake Petrillo, and he has been the manager now maybe a year and a half, 2 years. He started off selling popcorn. Mm-hmm. He started off in high school, and he's worked his way up and does such a great job. He is even now helping out in a managerial way temporarily at the music venue, The Mill.
Awesome.
And when we were saying earlier about how our little local cinema is clean, it's well staffed, it's friendly, that is a reflection of the managers that are there. And then that kind of goes to Brenda a little bit. She has been overseeing the movie theater for a while as that transition took place. So, compensation.
Yep.
Compensation does make a difference.
And benefits. Like, listen, I need to know that the place that I'm investing my time in is taking my healthcare seriously. Like,
yeah, that's a whole thing. That is a whole show itself right there.
It is. It absolutely is.
My own personal little corner of the world, have always been in a very weird situation for health insurance. My husband is a veteran, and he took that from get-go. He has always went to the veteran.
Yep.
Even through all of the years and the 2 retirements that he's had, where there was benefits and insurance, he always still chose the veterans. Mm-hmm. Well, now he's retired, and my health insurance comes through my union, but it's not offered to my family. Mm-hmm. So our boys, we've always had to just pay out of pocket. And now I have a son that is 25, and he recently got a raise in his job. And here come the renewal around, and realized he got just enough of a raise that knocked him out of qualifying for a discounted, not free, it's never been free,
right,
a discounted to the point where he's not insured at the moment. We are doing the whole marketplace thing, and that is
A nightmare.
oh my gosh! I thought no big deal, son. It's going to end the last day of May. Mom's going to have you some insurance by the first week of June. Well, here it is, the 17th, and I'm now more confused than I was when I first got the letter.
Yep.
There's no one you can just pick up the phone and say, "I'd like to buy."
You can go online.
Oh yeah, that's a
For
good
those of
one.
you who didn't see, I rolled my eyes
Oh,
really
yeah.
hard because sarcasm. It's
So,
what I do.
He's going to have, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to pick up Shield Shelter. I'm going to pick up State Farm. They have those things, right? Oh, no. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. So we have a plan this week. He's getting up bright and early with his income taxes and his paycheck stubs, and he's heading down to the DHS office and going to be the first one in line.
I wish him the best of luck because he'll probably be told there's not much we can do.
Yeah, just send us somewhere to buy it. We're not asking for it free. Just where do you buy it?
Yep.
It was like, oh my gosh.
I think that if it were my show and I'm talking about the government, like I would sit down with some very influential CEOs and be like, look, you made $611 billion. I know there's a hefty amount of change that went in your pocket this year, and I don't particularly care. Pay yourself $20 million. Don't care. Give yourself stock options. Don't care. For all the crap that you have to go through, be filthy rich when you retire from this place. I don't care. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through, and by the way, you're not going to play games with this, and I'm going to explain that later because there are loopholes and they'll find them.
Yep.
But we're going to go through with every large corporation, and we're going to look at your annual revenue. And we're going to take a percentage of that annual revenue, and we're going to say, okay, well, what are you paying your employees on average, full-time employees? What are you offering as far as benefits, 401k, all that kind of stuff? And if you don't meet a threshold, then we're going to throw you into a higher tax bracket as a company. And we're going to take some of that $611 billion. And on top of that, you're not going to call a cashier some stupid, weird title. And this is what I was talking about earlier. You're not going to change the title so that it puts them in some sort of, oh, well, they're not worth as much. No, we know she stands at a cash register, or he stands at a cash register, and you're not going to call it something different. You're not going to get away with this. I'll have people, I'll put together a whole freaking council, and I'll keep them away from your stupid lobbyists so you can't pay them off. And we'll make sure that we classify everything the right way, and we will penalize you if you leave your people in poverty while they work for your $611 billion company every effing year. And we will penalize you so bad that it hurts, and you'll have to read it out on your freaking annual review to your damn shareholders because you can't pay your people. That's what needs to happen, because it's absolutely asinine that we're sitting here in an economy that is absolute trash, and they're making $611 billion a year, and they have people on their payroll living in poverty. Bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
He was that close to dropping the F.
Yeah, he was very close.
I was passionate. I was like, oh,
I want to jump right back here, just a couple sentences back. When we're going to plug this real quick, and we're going to talk about it for the end of the show. But when I mentioned Brenda Whitaker a few minutes ago and her part of her job with the city as arts, entertainment, and tourism director, she oversees the manager at the movie theater. It's just one small little part of her job. We have asked this lady. She is the owner of our podcast network. She is GCRX. You can't be at Granite City and have not heard her name or know who she is. We have asked her forever to come on our show. She's had multiple invitations, and she's such a public person. She's a very private person at that. But next Monday,
stop.
On the 24th,
stop.
Brenda Whitaker will be taking that seat. And it is a complete transparency Q&A. Nothing off the table. Tune in. We'll talk more about that for the show.
I'm here for this.
Yeah.
I'll sit right on the other side.
Absolutely.
And I'll make an ass of myself. yeah, Brenda. Like,
I'm very happy she's doing this. Not particularly happy why, but it's time. It's time she comes on. It's time she takes some ownership, uh, and her perception and what people will know about her. And if you want somebody to know who you are, the best source of that is you. And I am very much looking forward to seeing her sit right over there. And again, mark your calendars, send in your questions, and they will be answered.
I'd like to say a little something.
Okay.
So, you guys have seen me here on the show several times. From New York, I enjoy Broadway, I enjoy shows, and the quality of show that Brenda puts on at the Alfresco, I absolutely adore. I don't remember the first time I met Brenda, but I do remember she left a very vivid imprint on my brain. Like, I was like, this woman gets it. She gets it. She's got the diner. She's got the speakeasy. She's got this. She's got the movie theater out back. Studio C, right?
Right.
And she's just very warm and welcoming. And it's she's the type of person that I absolutely enjoy just spending time with, because we can talk about just about anything. And I love talking theater with her because she's just so grounded and she's so knowledgeable about stuff. I'm looking forward to next week's show. Like, I'm serious. I'll take the trip from St. Louis again. Like,
That's awesome.
Like, I'm here for this. I am here for this.
I don't know that she's ever done anything like this. She's been interviewed hundreds of times on TV, in magazines, on newspapers, and radio stations. Just last Wednesday, she was on a radio interview. But this is a little bit different. This is friends, enemies, neighbors, co-workers. No questions too small, too big. Yeah, it's time. You're going to find out. You're going to find out.
Let's go. Let's do it.
I think it's way overdue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And before the end of the show, I think we'll have to come up with some kind of a title for it. But I have learned a few things about her talking about this, that it just kind of, I thought I already knew so much about Brenda. But to know that, and not giving anything away, she has been a businesswoman a lot longer than I even knew.
Oh, a long time.
I had no idea. And there's many lives, and she's probably one of the smartest people. No, not probably. She is one of the smartest people I know.
Very savvy.
Very.
Well, and let's just put it this way, to look at it, and I'm not going to say stuff before next show comes around, obviously, but somebody to have taken their money and invest in this town, and made the decision to invest in this town. And we're not talking like a multi-million-dollar corporation here, like she's just rolling in it or anything like that. Like, she has opened establishments that are nice. Like, the Speakeasy is awesome, the diner's awesome, the Board Gamery, the tea room's been around forever, and it moved downtown from where it was before. And she's used her money to do that.
100%,
Like,
yes.
and she didn't have
her creativity.
And there have been times where that's been incredibly difficult. And I mean, she could have decided to not.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Not only could she have decided to not and went to work for anybody else.
Absolutely.
If she, and location is key. Like in anything, it's key.
Right.
If you could magically pick up from the Alfresco to the Speakeasy to this complex and set it down, say in Webster Grove, set it down.
Ladue, Edwardsville,
Clayton.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah.
Joe Edwards, who is what that would be like. You know, he is the Brenda Whitaker for the Loop. I would compare them apples to apples. It's just the location.
Yep.
And I think that gets taken for granted.
Well, I think that some questions about what I'd said earlier with her spending her own money, which she very much has,
All
will
of
be
it,
clarified next week.
Yes.
Because there are rumors that fly around and stuff, and I think that'll all come to light. But it's just funny because you watch an effort like that, like somebody has come in with their own money and financed these operations and put their own livelihood at stake to make these operations be a thing. And then there are the naysayers that will stand back and be like, "Oh, negative, negative, negative," and
Yeah,
just,
right. And those are the people that don't even know. Like
No.
for you to say she left an impression on you.
From day one.
You
Yep.
could, some
Same.
people go their whole lives and don't leave an impression.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
You know what
I
I
don't
mean?
even know who they are. I've met them several times.
Well,
and it's
and I've met business owners that left an impression, but not a good one.
right.
Like, oh yeah, that guy owns that place down there, but he's a jerk. Like right, and all over the place. I'm not specifically talking anywhere around here. Like I've met people in St. Louis that I've done work for in the past. I'm like, oh wow, he's gotten through being in business just by being a jerk his entire life. Like that's not the impression. Always very kind, always very well spoken, and always has ethical intentions.
Oh my gosh, throughout the roof.
Mhm.
And over the next week on in the Metro and in the 6240 LLC, we are going to be highlighting a few things that you may have forgotten about. And just reminding you that the 24th is a show you are not going to want to miss. And it's a show that you're going to think about and rewatch. And it's going to be the water fountain conversation on Tuesday morning, probably for a good solid week, screw 15 minutes. And but the thing about that is that when the show is concluded, so will the comments, the questions.
Mm-hmm.
When the Q&A is over, it's over. So get busy. You've wanted to know. Now is your chance to know.
And everything on the show will be 100% factual.
Yeah.
And
So
can be checked.
here's what we're going to call it. Next Monday on the 24th, Brenda Whitaker, the myth, the legend, and the misconceptions.
I like it.
Yep. I love it. Totally awesome.
Absolutely. And Chuck will be back.
Yep.
So that will be good. We didn't mention Chuck. Chuck is taking a little rest. He travels a lot for work.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Because the last 2 times I've been here.
I don't think it's a racial thing.
No,
I think
Chuck loves me.
No.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Even
Chuck
though he
loves
calls
me.
you Bryan with an I.
Excuse me?
What?
Oh, what?
Did I say that? What? On the outside? Was that on the outside?
One-term woman.
I don't care. Listen, they think it's one term.
Mm-hmm.
They are underestimating me. It might not even be
Trying to get out early? What?
How crazy would it be if you end up being like the longest serving altar person?
Like this woman just won't die.
Yeah.
What is
It's not
going
like she won't
on?
die. Like she's doing so much great stuff. Like people talk. See, here's my thing, and this is and ties back into Brenda. If no one's talking about you, you're not doing anything. Okay. So like, there are a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
I've heard. I keep my ear out of the rumor mill because I legitimately like if I want to know something, I go straight to the source. Okay.
Right.
That's where I'm going with it. That's how my mom taught me. That's how my dad taught me. But like I'm going straight to the source. If I don't even bother with the rumors, I don't even know what they are. That having been said, if someone's not talking about you, you're not doing anything. And there are, from what I understand, there are a lot of people who are just like, it's like, okay, fine, let them talk. Let them talk.
Yeah.
Let them talk. Actions speak louder than words.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. I remember being told, let your work speak for itself, and when all else fails, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Let it happen. Let it happen. Just understanding the discernment of, all right, cool. I don't have to defend myself on this one. It's like somebody walking into, like when Nick Cannon decided he was going to go after Eminem in a rap battle. I was like, I don't know if you really want to take up arms against a howitzer. Like, you've got a little BB gun. That's a terrible idea. All right, I mean, if you want to. And the moment that it happened, a lot of people jumped to Eminem's defense and said, Nick, you're stupid. Don't do this. Like, seriously, don't do this. Let your work speak for itself. And I think for the most part, Brenda has let the work speak for itself. But now it's time to say a little something. So,
Right. And that's the thing. She's so private.
Mhm.
What she does, it's amazing. The things that she has done for people in this town that you're not going to see on Facebook the next day.
Mhm.
It just doesn't happen with her. And that just speaks so much values of the person that she is. And it's time. I think this is a great time. During this week, we had a couple announcements on Facebook that were really, really shook our town. John Roderick from Jerry's Cafeteria has been in business, I believe I read 80 years.
Oh, yeah.
So we're talking grandpa, dad, and now son is running it. And it is the only cafeteria style restaurant that I even know about anymore in this area. And I think we take it for granted because it's always there. If you're from our town, you have had Jerry's fried chicken. You have had a pie from there. You have had the twice baked potatoes. It's a thing. It's a legend.
If you haven't been to the restaurant,
You've had it at somebody's house.
Wedding,
you've had it right.
Reception,
right.
Jerry's always.
Right. So this week, I believe it was Monday. Don't quote me on the days. I'll probably just lie about it anyway. I don't know what day. Okay. One of them days, he came on Facebook bright and early in the morning, and he did a video. And it was probably one of the hardest things he's ever done. But he announced that he was less than a week away from closing the doors.
No way.
That between the price of product, the economy, a lot of people aren't eating out like they used to. I believe we've talked about this. I believe it's also a rippling effect that is still happening from COVID. Just a lot of reasonings. And he put a plea out. He made himself very vulnerable. And he, thought he was in this alone, that I'm not making it. I'm not making it. And I'm less than a week from closing the doors. Just putting that out there. And there wasn't such an immediate, he's the only one that's talking about it. But right now, everybody's hurting. In our town, businesses are hurting. Not the McDonald's, not the Walmarts, but our town's hurting. And Brenda's businesses have struggled. And they were thriving places pre-pandemic.
Yep.
And they're coming back. The doors are opening more and more. And the product, you're not going to get a better hamburger. You're not going to get a better chicken salad.
Girl.
But she also, when Jerry did the video, she also made a post. And this is something that for Brenda doesn't post on Facebook. Brenda barely reads Facebook. She doesn't handle her own media. But she wrote herself. She made a post to John Roderick telling him that, this is solidarity. I stand with you. I understand what's happening. I'm suffering myself. I don't know how long I can hold on. October will be my 24th year at the Garden Gate. I don't know that we're going to see that anniversary. I don't know that I'll be here next week either. And to see two mega entrepreneurs that we daily take for granted, we just know their doors are going to be open, both say, this is bad. This is bad. The economy is bad. We've seen an influx of people rushing to John and buying dinner and coming to the diner and picking up an extra lunch and a gift card. People are coming out in support, but we all know the support lasts about as long as a memory. You get back into your old habits. So I hope that continues. I hope that the support that the town is showing and remembering and thinking about how important these businesses owned by people that live right here in Granite City. So every dollar that they pull in, $1 of it's going back out in utilities and product. But what money they have of their own, they're putting back into the city. It's a win-win for everyone. And when you are down, for some individuals, for some people, for a very minor select people, they will take that opportunity to kick you when you're down. And that's not just Brenda. That's not just John, although they both experienced it. That has brought us to where we are at for the 24th. So there's no surprises about how we got here. It's the result of the pandemic. But what the surprises are going to be is the record being set straight. And it's going to be a good show. And it's not going to be a sad show. And it's not going to be a bashing show. It's going to be facts are facts.
Education.
And if you want to know, ask me.
Yeah.
While she's sitting in that chair.
Yeah. I mean.
So that's how we got here. That's where we're going to be on the 24th. And tune in. And I know you're going to be here. I know how you feel about her.
I certainly will. And I'll be honest with you. I feel bothered by the fact that Thursdays haven't been a thing yet. So I talked about it last year. I had some questions, right? We were doing trivia, and I love trivia. But I definitely wanted to do like a trivia night once a month or something. Just everybody come out. We're going to do trivia. It'll be awesome. Write the question for yourself. I'll be honest, trivia is writing questions for trivia. Have you ever written trivia questions?
Well, I've only been to one trivia, and I was terrible at it. So I can imagine writing
questions. We're talking about 10 rounds.
I'm going to have to introduce you to ChatGPT.
I refuse to let AI take my job. Okay.
Too late.
You know, and that is an awesome thing that you were talking about, and maybe still doing. We just got to get back into the mindset as citizens, as neighbors, getting back out and supporting everybody. I mean, I know that the paychecks are getting smaller. Yes, we know everybody's water and sewer bill's been combined, and it's an extra $80 a month. Yes, we all know that a couple years ago, your sewer bill only came every 3 months, and it was only $18. Now it's every month, and it's over $80. We know. There's nothing that we can do about that. We know that the power bills went from a normal household had a power bill in Granite City of $170-something, I believe I read, to $385, and now they are $400 to $1,200 a month. Mm-hmm. Your power bills in this area of Illinois, I don't know about Missouri, but I know in our area, our power bills right now are as much as mortgages, and that's scary.
Yep.
That's scary, because we know what happens when bills can't be paid. We just got to find a better way, and we got to not only focus on our own homes and our own bank accounts, but we've got a city that it's got to be supported. And part of a city is our entrepreneurs.
I think we just need to make a shift in our thought process. Like, listen, the fast food places aren't cheap anymore. What the fast food places used to have over any restaurant was it was cheap and it was easy. And yeah, you would deal with your order being screwed up or the attitude from the little teenager standing behind the counter or behind the speaker, because it's quick, it's convenient, it's easy. I know what I'm going to get. For the most part, it is what it is. But it's not cheap anymore. It's not convenient other than driving through. So
and most of the time, the order's not even right.
No. So why not go to one of these local businesses and get a good meal that's cooked by somebody that actually cares, that's worth every single penny, and eat that and be pleased with it, versus getting junk from McDonald's. Like, at least you know that when you get your food here, it's not been frozen in a walk-in cooler for 3 weeks. Like, listen, for real, like this stuff, you're not even on camera, but
Listen, I'm gonna get real close.
you need to get closer.
I'm gonna explain what this is, and then I'm gonna get real close to the camera. This I got at the diner.
Mhm.
All right, this is one of the most amazing burgers. Like I almost I slipped into a food coma afterwards. This, and I'm gonna get closer. But can I take the? I can't take the mic with me.
No, you can't.
All right, cool. But yeah, this was.
You got a camera right
I got
there.
a camera right here.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can put it right in front of that one. I'll switch to it.
All right, cool. This was what was
Back up
a little bit.
Yep,
Cool.
there you go.
This
Perfect.
burger was the most delicious burger I've ever had. This burger was 2 glazed donuts, bacon, cheese, 2 types of cheese, I believe, and those are loaded cheese fries. Oh. And I got it right here at the diner. I've never had a burger like this before.
Well, this is all freshly made stuff. Like I mean, like the tea room, and listen, if you guys are thinking tea room, you're like, oh, a dainty little tea room. Like no. Listen. I'm almost tempted to run out there and grab a menu real quick, but like you can get man food at this tea room. Am I wrong, Kim? Like
Man
roast beef, and like
great portions.
Oh, huge portions, freshly made. And listen, if you want a salad, they've got salad. You want a wrap, they've got wraps. They've got amazing food. They've got soups, sandwiches, salads, and like, listen, if I could afford to eat here every day, I would, but I can't. But the thing is, there's something for everyone, and it's amazing. The environment is amazing. You can order it to go. The prices are great. The staff is friendly. And you won't get a McDonald's experience, the negative McDonald's experience.
Absolutely.
And the portions, like you saw what Bryan just showed on that. Like, if you went to McDonald's, and obviously they don't have a burger with donuts on it, but
no, they don't.
If you just got like a double quarter pounder with cheese, add bacon, get your fries. Do they even do cheese fries at McDonald's? They don't.
Not at McDonald's. These are crinkle cut.
Right. So these are crinkle cut fries, and they put gooey cheese on top of them. So it's not a thing at McDonald's. But I mean, if you got something like that at McDonald's with that portion and that size burger, it would probably be every bit of like $23.
Absolutely.
Easy.
Absolutely.
I paid $15, probably not even.
With a drink.
Yeah. And I had to be driven home.
I have fallen in love with a burger myself at the diner. It's one of her newer burgers. It is a garlic. It's a butter, bacon, garlic burger. And it is so good. It and an order fries and a drink, like I said, completely reasonable. And you're hard pressed to eat all of it. But so good. But the one thing I do know about businesses in Granite City is it takes their grit. You're not gonna push them out. You're not. Jerry's business been generational. Brenda, her whole life, this is her babies. These places are her family. This is what she raised. She's not going easy. There's no way. They will have to carry her out feet first, I do believe. And I'm personally going to make a more conscious effort to eat local. I'm quick also to make a pizza order because it seems simpler. But I am going to make more of an effort, not just for the diner, but for Jerry's, for all of them, even Apple Tree. I'm going to make that effort that I haven't really consciously made. And when I was talking about this with my husband, he said, we haven't really ate out in a really long time. And I said, when was the last time that you can even think about that when we did? And he was like, oh, Golden Corral in Collinsville. How long has that been closed?
It's been gone. It's going to be a Chinese buffet soon.
Yeah. And he said, now I know he's a little bit older, and I joke about that. But in all seriousness, David was a little bit taken back when he realized how long he had been out to a restaurant. And he's the one that said, he sat back and he said, what else haven't I done since COVID?
A lot.
He hasn't been to the casino. That was one of the things he really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been to bingo when those were all shut down and the mandates were in place. It's not that he just forgot about it. He just got into a different routine.
Right.
He got used to being at home. Our children, the younger generation, have gotten used to being at home and making those phone calls and getting the food brought to them. I really, yeah, I just hope that we get to a point that there's nothing left of the COVID experience except the memory.
Well,
But I just don't know.
And I want everybody who is watching now and watches this later to just kind of think about it for a second. When you order something for delivery, you know, we talked about this earlier.
Right.
You know that you're spending a little bit of extra money, right? So if you think about these places that don't have a delivery service, so in the economy where it's tough and you're making cuts, you're okay with paying that delivery driver a $5 tip plus the service fee, plus this, plus that. Why not just make a phone call? And I know that's tough. People don't like making phone calls anymore, but it either A, stop by, order it, wait for it to be made, grab it, go home. Or call and be like, hey, downtown diner, I'd like, 2 cheeseburgers, couple order of fries, couple of Cokes, and they'll have it ready for you. And on your way home, you swing by, you grab it. And you don't pay any of those fees. You don't get attitude from some snotty teenager in a drive-thru. You don't get an incorrect order. And you support a local business person that is going to do an astronomically better job with your food than any of these corporate chains are going to do.
Absolutely.
I mean, even when we're talking about going to something like Applebee's, how many people know that Applebee's, they're not doing anything fancy there. Your portions are pre-portioned in packages that they open up and they throw it on the grill or in the deep fryer to finish it at the end. A lot of the stuff is pre-cooked. Or the microwave, yes. No, you're not wrong, but most of these big chains like that, that's what they do. They're like, oh, they ordered the Santa Fe chicken. Cool. It comes in a plastic bag that's sealed, vacuum sealed. They open it up and they throw your Santa Fe chicken in whatever device they prep it with, and they put it on your plate. So there's no extra green beans or extra this or anything special. Hell, most of the time they don't even season their own stuff. It comes pre-seasoned, unless it's an allergy item. So there's no love. It's just wham, bam, done and get out. And they're just trying to maximize the amount of money that they make off of that experience and keep it as positive as possible with what they're doing with that. The same thing goes with fast food. You've not eaten a burger from McDonald's in years that didn't come frozen as a patty in a box shipped on a truck. The same unique size patties over and over and over again. Burger King, same thing. Don't care if it's flame broiled or done on a grill like McDonald's is. They're all frozen. They come in on a truck. They were harvested from that animal, Lord knows when. We're talking fresh, professionally made ingredients, or professionally prepared ingredients at these restaurants, and these people put their heart and soul and they care, and it's good. It's good, and you can have it customized, and it's just an overall better experience over McDonald's.
And the care, the care. They want to be here.
Yeah.
They could be any place else. They choose this community.
Mm-hmm.
And they care about the quality and they care about your experience.
Yep.
And your dollars are staying right here.
Oh, that's the biggest thing.
And who is the first person that organizations go to for donations? Whether it's Little League, it's APA, whoever. Whatever, they go to the small business
that care about the community because they're more likely to get the donation.
Absolutely, they are.
Yep.
It's a whole lot harder for a small business to say no. It's super easy for McDonald's. We don't do that.
I got to run that by the district manager.
Yeah.
And the district manager
the
said,
owner.
No, I'm sorry, that's not happening.
So we need these businesses.
Right.
We need this downtown. We need uptown.
Yep.
We've got to support all the way across. And I don't care if we have 7 coffee shops now.
Yep.
And we end up with 11. I don't care. Find something from each one that you can't live without. Find something from these eateries that makes them unique and gave you a great feeling, and take somebody out for a bowl of chili, tater tots, a hamburger.
Or a bowl of cereal at the Thor Camry.
Yeah.
Exactly. I hadn't even thought about that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I had little kids, can you imagine if I had a place like that? Oh yeah, we would have been here.
I think the people that complain about like, oh, there's another coffee shop, why would you know? Like, I think you just don't have anything better to complain about. Like, or you're not, your mind doesn't work logically, because like you're just telling me right now that rather than have another coffee shop, as if we have the option to have all the bougie stores in the world populated in our town overnight, because they're all screaming to get in. You would rather an empty lot just sit there paying no taxes, offering no revenue to the town, no jobs. You'd rather be like, oh, it's another coffee shop. Like, bro, you negative mother trucker,
Yeah.
shut up. Stop,
Yeah, it was
Bryan.
close.
Like, listen, stop with the stupid hate. Like, get a job.
Cereal and coffee. She's had one of the
For
first.
real.
Yes. And I'll be honest about coffee. I'm not a coffee snob.
I am.
And this, maybe it's my age. I don't know. Maybe it's somebody a little older. Don't know. Don't care. But for me, my favorite coffee is in the morning when I put Folgers in my Mr. Coffee, and I have sugar and cream, and I drink that pot of coffee until about noon while I'm getting my work done. That's my coffee.
Mhm.
Everything else, for the rest of the day, when I stop at these coffee places, yeah, I'm going to grab me a cold coffee. Yeah, I'm going to grab me this. But I'm also going to see what else they got.
Mhm.
And I don't care that there's another one a couple doors down, because I'm going to get you tomorrow.
Let me try them all. And that's my thing, like, too. Like, I've got a favorite from this place. I've got a favorite from that place.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to go patronize all of those different places. And I feel very fortunate that we have the opportunity to have that here locally. That's totally awesome. And I also think it's a great benefit that we have another business that's decided to build a building in our community. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Exactly. And then Five Below coming.
Yeah.
Nice.
When I heard Five Below was
Mm-hmm.
coming, and I heard it the same time everyone else did at the Mayor's Listening series, I was thrilled. I'm telling you, I got a little excited. And then immediately, freaking social media is like another discount store.
Let me tell you.
What?
Let me give you a little excerpt about that. Five Below, and people are like, "Oh, it's another discount store." Rah, 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 that's all we need. They're liking it to like Dollar General or something. I want you to drive over to Brentwood, where the Target is, and there's a Trader Joe's over there, and all the frou-frou stores. And guess what's in the same complex?
Five Below.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So before you run your mouth, be a little more educated. I think that's the inherent problem with all these haters, is they want to run their mouth, but they haven't done any research, and they just make themselves look absolutely
they
asinine.
just want to have something
Negative.
negative to say.
Right. It's like all of the work that has been done around the city, whether it be with the school district or a city project that comes from grant money. That all of that $1 million could have been spent on something else. First off, they don't even say what that something else is. They just want to see it spent on something else.
Which they will also bitch and complain about.
Correct.
Absolutely.
But they don't understand, and this is where I said, haters, educate yourself, because you make yourself sound absolutely stupid. Grant money can only be spent on what the grant is for. If I take $1 of the $1 million that was given and go buy a Pepsi, I'm screwed.
Right.
It's illegal.
Absolutely.
Illegal.
And as the mayor said during his listening series the other day, was about the grant money. He said, the things that are happening in Granite City, the new neon park, all the Route 66 things that are coming, and several other things that have been enhanced. This is grant money. It's free to us.
Yeah.
But before you say anything, I get it. It's money. Somewhere along the line, it wasn't free. I get that. But I loved it when this mayor said on live and in front of all of us, hey, this mayor ain't no dummy. If I don't take that grant money, you think they're putting it back in the coffer? No,
they're not.
It's going to the very next community.
Listen, they said the same thing. The school district, this was about the time that the school district was saying something about like they had $1 million shortfall, I think it was, and everybody was all up in arms, and they were talking about how they needed to have an internal review, and they were really giving poor Jim Greenwald to run around with this. That man, how he put up with everything he put up with, I don't know.
And I apologize to him if I ever said anything negative when my kids were in school, because I know they were just.
I love Jim. Jim's a great guy, but about this time they were working on the just major remodel of the gymnasium, and people are up in arms, and they're like, "Oh well, you're short $1 million, but you can remodel the gym and put in another floor and do that." That was all grant money given by, I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure it was the state. Don't quote me on that, but regardless, it was grant money.
It all funnels down.
Right. Grant money assigned specifically to upgrade your athletic facilities.
Right.
Can't be used for anything else. Take it or leave it.
So if he left it,
then we'd be sitting with a high school gymnasium that looked the same that it did when it was built in the 50s.
But that money
would go somewhere else.
In another town.
Exactly.
With a new
athletic facility.
Exactly.
Period.
Yep. Yeah. And so, but people were just, and this social media was a little younger back then, and people were just up in arms about that. I'm like, guys, and I tried a few times, but you can't change people's minds on social media. Doesn't matter what you say, but it's like, it's grant money. You can literally check to see if I'm lying. Go look. It's all in the records.
Yeah.
Like we gave $2.5 million to Granite City School District number 9 for a gym. They didn't pay anything. We gave it. It wasn't we loan you $2.5 million and you pay it back. It was, we're going to give you this money, but it has to be used for this. It's the same thing with
you can't buy textbooks that we know you need. We know we need them, but with this money, and I know it's a lot, and we probably didn't have to have a new floor, and I know we really, really could have used this science lab over here updated. Yep. But do we not have this because we need this? It doesn't make any sense.
You would be silly if you were the leader of that organization. First off, it would be just ill effort spent. But if you went to the state and was like, well, you're going to give us $2.5 million to remodel our athletic facility, we don't really need that. We need $2.5 million for our science lab.
They're like, we'll go get you a grant for that.
Find a company or some other organization that will give you a grant for your science lab.
But in the meantime,
we're doing grants for athletic
we're looking for a city that wants a new gym.
Do you want a new gym? And the same thing goes with like the athletic fields. Do you want a new athletic field?
And they're beautiful, by the way.
They are, but like, hey, do you want one of these? Well, of course we do. What do we got to do? Well, we're offering grants. Apply for the grant. Okay, we apply for you're approved. Okay, and now the slew of social media. Oh, they can spend money on that soccer field, but look, they can't do this or that.
So the neon sign park is unique. The closest one to us is Springfield, Illinois. Mm-hmm. The next one, I believe, is Tulsa, Oklahoma. There are people that travel to see these. Mm-hmm. They are unique to us, but Neon Signs has a fan club.
Oh yeah. Big.
Did we need it? No, but we got the grant for it. Why would we not have it?
The city's got an empty lot. City's doing
at
nothing.
19th and Delmore. Mm-hmm. It's not completed yet. The ceremony date has not been announced. They have not been lit up yet. But drive down. It's not just the signs. There's 3 new murals now. Mm-hmm. One mural is so colorful and so well done. There is, don't quote me, 56 or 57 Chevy, mm-hmm. a red and white one that is, if you look just a certain way, you would think that car is coming down the alley. It is done so well. Someone here in town, and I don't know the person, took an old truck about the same year, and parked it next to the mural and posted on Facebook. It looked like a parking lot. Like there was 2 vehicles that were actually there.
Some really great stuff. And here's the thing. You guys would be complaining if there was nothing going on. You guys would be complaining if the buildings were falling down and it was just absolute trash. But something's being done. It's being made to look better. There's effort going on. There's nothing to complain about.
So help us.
Mm-hmm.
Help this city. As the mayor said in his series, Illinois has a big push on bringing back the downtowns across the whole state, not Granite City, not Edwardsville, the whole state. It's a push for tourism. It's all these little towns. We talked about Atlanta, Illinois, where the Giants are at, the American Giants. That town had zero in that town. No commercial anything. Now they have a couple stores. They have a Casey's. They have a new gas station. It's important. We are at a great time that our downtown has been rebranded by this administration as the district. And it's happening fast.
Oh, super fast.
And we have a music venue that is, concerts are just lining up now. We're getting noticed. We are getting on, literally, we are on tourism maps now.
Yep.
And while that's happening, they are also, people outside our area are going to come into our area and they're going to see these neat things because it's what they come to see. They're going to stop at our Quick Trip and fill up their gas. They're going to hopefully stop at the diner and get an old time meal. They're going to do all these things while they're here. And that's putting money back into our community.
Absolutely.
Embrace it. Stop fighting it.
Well, and I would say for those folks who like pointing out, because listen, it can be exciting, just like conspiracy theorism and just general, I don't want to say negativity to hate on everybody, but like there is some excitement behind exposing the truth. Go expose the truth with something legitimate.
Yeah.
If you're going, and I don't want to detour you from saying, hey, somebody in this administration has done wrong, or misspent money, or misappropriated funds, or made a wrong decision. Absolutely expose that type of activity, but do your research. Don't just sit behind a keyboard and be like, oh, that's stupid. Because, listen, it may be stupid to you, but it may not be stupid to other people, and it may be the thing
Absolutely.
that we've done research on that shows that it brings people into the town. Go find something else. Pull yourself a Freedom of Information Act and find out what's going on financially in the town. I'm sure they'll give you all the information. And you can go dig through that and figure out what you want to pick out of there and go be negative about that.
But you have to be blind not to see what is happening.
Absolutely.
And that this mayor, it's his vision. And part of that vision is finding people that complement it, that have the creativity to bring it to fruition, and that he works well with. And as he is no dummy, as he has pointed out himself, and it is not a coincidence or a mistake that he has pulled someone like Brenda Whitaker in with the title of Arts, Entertainment, and Tourism Director, and has her as a part of his team. We're going somewhere.
Well, let's just be honest.
We are.
You could very easily, as a mayor of this town even, just be like, listen, that area, kind of a lost cause.
Yeah, I'll pass.
I'm not.
Easy to do.
I don't think that we should invest any more money down
I've
there.
seen so many other mayors do it.
Right. Like, listen, let's just let it kind of wean off, and we'll raise those buildings whenever they get crappy, and we'll start over down there. It's too close to the steel mill. It's just, there's not enough left to worry about. That could be the method of operations. Like,
Thank goodness it's not.
Thank goodness.
And we have the anchors that are here.
Yes.
We have City Hall. We have the library. We have things that were built when this city was becoming a city. There is probably a very large percentage of Granite City people that do not know that we have more than one museum. We have the 6 Mile that people seem to know a lot about.
Yeah.
We have what I consider a museum, maybe it's not, but the Hall of Fame at the high school. If you have not been there and walked through the rows and the little kiosk of individual people that have made it big time, from Granite City sports and cheerleading and so many other, and talent of the arts, you are missing out. And this one really drives me home. When we were in Springfield, Illinois, looking at their neon park, we look over and there's this huge building and you can tell that there has been so much detail and dedication to it. It's a fucking firehouse. It's a firehouse museum. We have one of those.
Yes.
We have one of those.
Yep.
It's
Downtown.
filled with the real stuff. It's right there.
It's
Right there.
downtown.
Thank you, Larry Side, for all that you do with that.
So yeah, it was amazing.
Also, Grant, coming that direction.
Yep.
We've got things happening here. Things that couldn't be put someplace else.
Well, and what you have to realize is that as this area grows and more tourism happens, what will happen is that these other companies will notice, and people will come in here and they will build things. Do you think that Starbucks was in the U City Loop day one? They were not.
Nope.
Do you think that these popular restaurants that are in the Central West End were there while the Chase Park Plaza was practically falling apart?
No.
They were not.
And you're the first person that I heard say, we had a company come in and actually build a building.
Building.
Now, I was excited about Ollie's, and
Mm-hmm.
I am excited about Five and Below. I'm excited about scooters, but I'm super stoked to think
I said
that
the
they
same thing.
built it.
Yeah, I said the same thing when they did Popeyes. Like, they literally came in, like, people were complaining, oh, yeah, another chicken place. That's what we need. Come on now. Like, no. Like, seriously.
Was that person related to his person
And it
in
had-
Shrewsbury?
Listen, how can you say it like
Janice's neighbor.
that's immediately when I see these type of posts, that's immediately when I think, oh, another chicken place. What would you want it to be?
I'm curious. A couple weeks ago, there was a really huge event that took place.
Huge?
Huge. You guys.
Simultaneously.
Huge.
Huge.
At the raceway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
NASCAR.
when NASCAR says we're going to do something in Granite, where are those people going to go? The closest city, right?
Yep.
Granite. So who's to say that it's a terrible idea to have the diner, or a terrible idea to have scooters, or a terrible idea to go to that
Another
speaking-
chicken place
another
coming
chicken
in.
place come. Yeah. Okay, great. And what does that do? It boosts revenue for the city.
It's
The
because
city, by the way, that you live in.
right.
Just saying.
Just
Revenue
saying.
for the city
Just saying.
is good for
Well,
the city and everyone who's involved.
I know exactly what it is. It's people saying, "Oh, it's not what I wanted to come in."
It's
But-
not what you wanted to come in. So
Here's the
fine.
thing.
Here's a great idea. You build it.
Well, yeah, open a franchise, because most of those locations that you want to come in are franchises, and they have a program that you can pay an upfront cost and do all this stuff and open up your own location. You don't want to do that, but you want whoever's doing economic development in the city to convince somebody to ignore all of the ROI that investigation that you have to do for one of these businesses and just post up here. What? So you can go visit it once? Oh man, I wish we had a Chick-fil-A. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen now. It could in the future if we move on the path of growth, but it's not going to happen now.
Right.
You
But
know?
ideally, and what it really comes down to, I find, I forget what book I read it in. People who complain about anything, they have nothing going on for themselves. And as a result of them not having anything, they hate on anybody who's doing anything,
Yep.
because the people who are doing something, the Brenda Whitakers, the Carl,
Jerry.
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 Sorry,
John from
Yep.
Jerry's. Yeah.
John from Jerry's. My bad.
Yeah.
Where'd you get Carl?
I don't know.
Well,
not
because he
local,
mentioned
but
NASCAR. You know,
Oh,
there's
okay.
NASCAR.
You
Yeah,
know,
NASCAR.
because you know Carl be going to
Carl,
NASCAR.
Carl,
You know what,
Carl,
though?
we going to NASCAR.
Here, hold on. The Carl kind of sounds like the guy complaining about the chicken place. That's
Listen,
Carl.
it might be.
Carl.
But at the end of the day, the people who are doing something are a mirror reflection of the people who are doing nothing and have dreams that have let those dreams die or are dying. And it's like, man, I can't let them succeed, because then that means that, like, I could have succeeded with the dream that I had. So, like, do something more with yourself other than try to squash the dreams and desires of other people. Like, this is a call to action for you, the keyboard warrior, who's just sitting back there, who's probably bitching about what it is that I'm saying. And you know what? Fine. But guess what? I'm on this show
That
now.
was close.
I'm on the show. You're not. You're behind a keyboard. All right? So find your passion. Do something with that passion. You're not dead yet. Go do something productive about it and stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. Try to enhance this city. Try to enhance society.
Amen.
Be better.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I think we couldn't close out the show with any better of a statement than that right there.
Yep.
I mean, that right there was a preach. That was a preach. So it's always a pleasure. You stop by all
I
the time.
appreciate you guys having me.
I know you're going to be here next week, and that's what we're going to close out this show with is whether you enjoyed our show or not, please tune in next Monday for a great show. Look for it on the 62040, look for it on GCRX and on In the Metro. And get to know the myth, the legend, and the misconceptions of Brenda Whitaker.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Thank you. Have a good night, y'all.